Next up, I want to go to the running backs. So let's go to the running backs. A lot of intrigue, especially starting again in my backyard with Austin Ekeler. He missed 3 days of practice this week with that ankle. It hasn't been described officially as a high ankle sprain, but it's not looking good, mi amigo.
No, it is not looking good. They've already listed him as doubtful. He didn't practice all week. That's not really great. We kind of got the sense this was going to be the case. There is some video showing that it could have been a high ankle. It's hard to really say. I don't want to say that I know for a fact that that's what it was, but sort of the way that he landed and the angles that we had available, it looked like it very well could have been a high ankle sprain. So what are we looking at? If it is a high ankle sprain, the mode, otherwise known as the most frequent amount of time that guys miss since 2016 running backs, it's actually, there are 2 modes. So it's bimodal is what you call that. They miss 0 games frequently or most frequently, or they miss 3 games most frequently. So he might fall into that bucket of missing 3 games if this is a high ankle sprain. Don't hit the panic button. Don't freak out, because there's still a chance this could be a lateral ankle sprain. With a lateral ankle sprain, it's very, very rare that guys miss more than 1 week, and he could return in week 3. What I would say is plan for somewhere between missing Austin Ekeler for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't think at this point right now that we know of, I don't think it's going to be a long-term issue. And let's talk about a little bit. I want to hear your thoughts on Josh Kelley, because I think we disagree a little bit on this. And I tweeted about it, but you were telling me before we hit record your thoughts on Josh Kelley and whether he's a must start in most leagues. So what do you think of that? What do you got on that in week 2 for Josh Kelley?
Well, compadre, I wish I could say good things, because I loved what Joshua Kelley did last week. I thought it was fantastic. Me being a UCLA fan, I watched him play in his college years, rooted for him with the Chargers. It looked like a breakout game. It definitely looks like he's going to get the opportunity. But you know what? I put out there on the Yahoo Roundtable yesterday that I'm sitting Joshua Kelley, and the reason why I'm sitting Joshua Kelley, it's not opportunity. It's the fact that he's going up against Stonewall this week. The front 7 for the Tennessee Titans is one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL. They were number 1 in rushing defense last year, allowed the fewest rushing yards allowed. And, it's the same unit again. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to put the ball into Justin Herbert's hand, because on the flip side, they're the worst pass defense last year. And you know what? They just had Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Michael Thomas just go all over them last week. And I think now you got Justin Herbert with a healthy Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Everything looks good with him. I mean, we don't have him on the list to talk about today, but he did take a hell of a hit last week. So and those guys, I would have liked Ekeler to be a part of that passing game, but I'm really thinking it's going to be wheels up on Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and maybe a breakout game for Quentin Johnston or Joshua Palmer. I think just that it's going to be all passing all the time. I think it could be 40 plus pass attempts and the Chargers winning big.
I think it actually could be. I don't think we disagree. I actually think that both things can actually be true. And maybe that does mean that ultimately we disagree. We'll let the listener decide what they want to do. Ultimately, we have Elijah Dotson, who's a rookie. He's 5'9" and 200 pounds. He wears number 42. You know he can't be successful. He wears number 42. That's obvious. That's obvious. A direct correlation there. And then Isaiah Spiller, who somehow was listed 4th on the depth chart. So after coming in and having a year on the rookie Elijah Dotson, who wears number 42, Isaiah Spiller's number 4 on the depth chart. So you have Josh Kelley, Elijah Dotson, who wears number 42, and Isaiah Spiller, who couldn't beat out a rookie, is 4th on the depth chart. There's no other place, Jorge. They can't pass the ball every down. There's no other place that ball can go. You also have to consider, if they are airing the ball out, if the Titans can't match points, which I don't think the Titans can match points, what are they going to do when they're trying to ice the game away? Hand off right, hand off left, hand off right. Turn over Ryan Tannehill again, get the ball at the 5, hand off left, Josh Kelley touchdown. I think that there's enough room for the passing game to be successful and be a funnel the way that you're talking about, and for Josh Kelley to still pay off, considering you got him on waivers for, I don't know, $20, $30, especially if you went like an anchor RB strategy. I just don't know how you don't start Josh Kelley if you got him on waivers, right? Like if you went anchor RB with Austin Ekeler and you've got, who's your second running back? Like, God forbid, Dios mío, if you did J.K. Dobbins as your second running back, you are absolutely starting Josh Kelley, right? Like, there's no way around it to me. Obviously, if you're really lucky and you have a solid roster and a backup plan from that, then that's one thing. But I think that you have to really assess your situation. And again, listener, you decide, should I start Josh Kelley? Should I not? But I do think that there is room for both things to exist here with the Chargers.
Okay, we're going to see how it plays out. But you're right. It's even the running back market right now, it's looking like 1:45 in the morning at the club. It's late, and it's not looking good. So let's go over to Green Bay. We all saw the video of Aaron Jones grabbing his left hamstring as he was scoring that long touchdown. He came out of the game. They were icing that game away, but it's the practice participation this week. How's he trending?
Yeah, so Aaron Jones has not practiced. You have to remember Aaron Jones is 29, right? 28 or 29. And that matters because the older you are, the harder it is for you to get over this hamstring strain. This is a recurrence for Aaron Jones. He had a hamstring strain in 2019. That didn't really stop him when he was much younger than he is now. He's not decrepit, but again, when you're in the NFL, 28, 29 is you're really getting over the hill there, especially at the running back position. It takes longer for your tissues to heal. It just sort of is what it is, unfortunately. So he hasn't practiced all week that we know of. We haven't gotten practice reports back for this hamstring stuff that he's dealing with. But, it doesn't look like it's trending in the right direction. And I pulled up the practice reports right now. He was a DMP. They're calling him questionable. Is he a guy that can come back and play without any practices? Probably. Should I expect it? I don't necessarily expect it. Running backs on average since 2018 have missed one game, a little over one game with a hamstring strain. So I would anticipate that he's back next week, unless, again, you're going to talk a little bit. I know you have a question about like conservative versus not, but as of now, there's a chance that we see Aaron Jones back week 3, but I wouldn't anticipate he's in the lineup for week 2.
And, speaking of conservative, I mean, I've heard on multiple podcasts that the Green Bay Packers are a little bit more conservative when it comes to their the injuries and their training staff. Maybe holding guys out an extra game to make sure 100% that they're fine. With this being a soft tissue injury, I mean, where kind of like what's your stance on teams being, and do you agree on the Packers and teams being conservative versus aggressive?
I think generally speaking, most teams lean aggressive, and it's all relative to the conversation, because when you have to get a guy back in 1 week, you'd be surprised how much guys play through. I think if we really knew, and if the general public really knew how much dudes are actually playing through, then athletic trainers and PTs in the NFL would get a 2x, 3x salary bump. That's really the honest truth. So are the Packers more conservative than other teams? When I stop and think about it, I don't have any data to back it up, but it does kind of seem like they are. They took a long time with Devontae Adams' turf toe in 2019. That's one particular thing that stands out to me. They held him out a couple practices in 2020 as well with the calf, and I remember seeing reports saying that he could actually play if he had to. So they are a little bit more conservative. I do think for me, philosophically, as a physical therapist, as a sports PT, I actually do think that's probably the right move. But again, it's really hard to justify that when there are so many hands in the pot, when you have the GM, the assistant GM, the coach, right, the owner, you have the head athletic trainer, you have the staff PT, you have S&C, right? There are so many hands in the pot that it's hard to really say how, for one decision maker, for one person to be the decision maker, that's just not realistic. So I think at worst we see Aaron Jones miss 2 weeks, but I do think that he has a chance for next week.
Okay, and him, if he does end up missing, AJ Dillon is wheels up, because the Falcons are not a good run defense, and so that one I am going to go for the backup on that one. So we're pouring one out for J.K. Dobbins. I mean, just horrible luck. 2021 gets the preseason torn ACL, and then he first game out after he scores a touchdown, tears his Achilles. For running back, I mean, we saw Cam Akers come back, but really, I mean, how hard is this coming on the heel, practically on the heels of becoming healthy from the torn ACL?
Yeah, it's just, you're sick for this guy. This is super unfortunate. Who knows what the deal is? Who knows why? You could ask 100 questions. Is it the workloads? Is it him trying to come back last year? Is it the knee that was just never came back and there was stress on tendons down the stream? We don't know. We'll never know. That's the unfortunate reality. I do think that it's an uphill battle for J.K. Dobbins. That's really all you need to know. It's going to be an uphill battle. There's a very low chance that he makes it back in 2023. I think 2024 should be the target for him. And I don't know what to do with his backfield at this point. Unfortunately, I mean, Gus Edwards, probably the closest thing you have to a bell cow in this backfield. I don't know what you think.
I put more money on Gus Edwards in Fab this week than Justice Hill. I think more of the track record. He's the bigger back, more north-south guy. He's kind of like that banger that John Harbaugh likes, and I mean he's got more of a track record with the team. So, and plus he did better. I mean, he 32 yards on 8 carries, where Justice Hill got 9 rushing yards on 8 carries. So. But I'm going to monitor this because they also have Melvin Gordon in there, and there's still guys looming out there. Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt, guys like that are still out there that could be. Or you know what? Do they trade for Jonathan Taylor? I think you put that on. That would be sexy. That would be sexy.
That would be nice.